All right, welcome back, everyone. This is it, the final part of our deep dive into Docker. We've talked about what it is and how it works, but now we're going to tackle the big one. Why? Why did Docker end up becoming, well, the absolute bedrock of pretty much everything we do online today? Let's get into it.
So, if you've been following along, you'll remember our journey started with that one incredibly frustrating phrase every developer knows, but it works on my machine. From there, we went under the hood, right? We looked at the nitty-gritty, the Linux namespaces and crooks that actually make containers tick.
And all of that brings us right here to the real heart of it all. See, the story isn't just about what Docker is. It's about what it built. What did it make possible? What kind of revolution in software, in business, and yeah, even in artificial intelligence did it kickstart? Okay, so first up, Docker gave the world something it was absolutely desperate for: a standard unit of software. Think about it. This was a huge shift. We went from treating our software like these fragile, hand-built things to having reliable, almost factory-produced blueprints. Before Docker, things were, well, kind of chaotic. Every single server was its own little unique snowflake, right? And this led to something called configuration drift. Tiny little changes that nobody writes down, but that cause massive, unpredictable headaches down the line. Docker just stopped all that. It brought in a guarantee, a promise that the environment you build on your laptop is the exact same one that's going to run in production halfway across the world. And the magic key to all of this? The immutable image. Seriously, just picture a perfect, totally sealed blueprint of your app. Once you build it, that's it. It's locked. It never changes. It's such a simple idea, but it's elegant, and it's what finally killed that "it works on my machine" nightmare. Because with an immutable image, the machine is the same, no matter where it goes. But of course, life's never that simple, is it? You solve one giant problem, and you create a new one. Now that we had this perfect little software package, the next question was, okay, what happens when you have a million of them? How do you manage all that? And that, my friends, is where cloud orchestration enters the picture. And really, this gets to the heart of the new challenge. See, running one container, that's useful, it's a tool. But running a huge global service on thousands or even millions of them, whoa, that's not just a coding problem anymore. That is a straight-up logistical nightmare. So really, how do you do it? How do you manage this entire global fleet of containers? How do you deal with one of them failing? Or route traffic to the right place? Or scale from 10 users to 10 million in an instant? The answer is, you don't. Not by hand, anyway. It's completely impossible at that scale. And this is where one of my favorite analogies comes in because it just explains it so perfectly. If Docker gave us the standard shipping container for code, then something like Kubernetes is the entire global shipping network. It's the ports, the giant cranes, the container ships. It's the whole system that gets those containers exactly where they need to be, safely and on time. And what's so brilliant about an orchestrator like Kubernetes is that it doesn't even care what's in the container. It doesn't need to. Its only job is to be the ultimate manager. It figures out which server is best for a container to run on. If a container crashes, poof, it automatically restarts it. If you get a sudden flood of traffic, it scales you up. It's the brain of the whole operation, making sure everything just works. So this partnership really defines the modern way we build software. The workflow looks like this. Developers use Docker to build and test that perfect, sealed, immutable image. Then, they hand it off, and an orchestrator like Kubernetes takes over to actually run it at scale in the real world. It's a simple mantra, really. You build with Docker, you run with Kubernetes. Okay, so this ability to manage these complex, perfectly isolated worlds, it turned out to be the secret weapon for one of the most complex fields out there right now. You guessed it, artificial intelligence. If you've ever touched AI development, you know about dependency hell. It is a very, very real place. I mean, imagine trying to build a car, but the tires only work with a 2018 engine, and the steering wheel only works with the 2022 transmission. It's impossible. That's exactly what it feels like trying to get different versions of TensorFlow, PyTorch, and all their specific hardware drivers to play nicely together. It's absolute chaos. This is where Docker just becomes a total game changer for the entire AI workflow. And I mean every single stage. For research, you get pre-built environments ready to go in seconds. For training, it gives you seamless access to super powerful GPUs. For testing, it guarantees your tests are running in the exact same environment you trained in. And then for deployment, it packages that model up into a neat little box ready to scale up to millions of users. So you might be wondering, wait a second, how does this isolated little container get access to something powerful like a GPU? Well, it's done with this really clever bridge. Basically, the main computer manages the physical hardware. Then, a special toolkit, like NVIDIA's, creates a secure little tunnel to that GPU. This lets the container tap into all that incredible processing power, while still keeping all its own special libraries and versions completely separate and safe inside. But maybe the biggest impact Docker had wasn't even on the technology itself. It was on how we think. It forces you to level up from just writing lines of code to actually thinking about building entire systems, real architectures. And this one sentence right here says it all. A model that lives in a data scientist's notebook? That's a prototype. It's an experiment. But the second you put that same exact model inside a Docker container, it's not a prototype anymore. It's a product. It's something real, something reliable, something you can actually ship. Once you start thinking this way, you see software completely differently. Suddenly, systems aren't these giant monolithic things. They're just collections of these universal building blocks. You've got your task blocks, your different kinds of storage, and the best part, every single one of these blocks can be its own neat little container. It's like building with Legos. You can just snap together these incredibly complex systems. And that's why learning Docker is about so much more than just learning a piece of software. When you really master containerization, you're actually learning the timeless, fundamental rules of good architecture: portability, isolation, and resource management. These aren't just buzzwords. They're the absolute foundation of how we build reliable systems today. All right, so where does all this go from here? Well, the ideas that Docker introduced, they aren't just important for what we're doing today. They are literally paving the road for the future of all computing. Just think about the next big waves of tech. We've got AI agents that are going to need these super stable, long-running places to live and work. That's a perfect job for a container. We've got edge computing, where we need to push smarts out to thousands of different kinds of devices. Docker's portability is tailor-made for that. No matter which future you look at, containerization is the essential plumbing that's going to make it all work. And that really brings us to the final big idea: the truly mind-bending, intelligent, globe-spanning systems of tomorrow, the stuff we can't even fully picture yet. They're all going to be built on the back of these simple, reliable containers that we're using right now. So as we wrap up this whole journey, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Docker's true genius was that it tackled one single fundamental problem: the absolute chaos of software environments. And by solving that one thing, it did so much more than fix a bug. It kicked off the cloud revolution, it laid the foundation for the AI explosion, and it completely redefined what it even means to build reliable software. When you think about it, the whole Docker story, from a tiny complaint on a developer's machine to the foundation of global AI, it's really a story about the power of creating order out of chaos. That journey into the next era of intelligent systems, it's already started. It's happening right now. So the only real question left is, are you ready to build it?